to jump in last year, and it was a very large class, if you maybe didn't notice. And we learned a lot last year, starting confirmation kind of post-COVID, and we have a pretty great plan for you guys this year to make it a really incredible experience. So what you have in front of you is, some of the materials you're going to need. Most importantly, I'm going to have you look at the papers that you have there. This is kind of the structure of confirmation here at Silverdale Lutheran. This is something, if you want to, it's really just not very. Okay, so you can take this home and read it over and over and over again if you'd like to, and I'm just going to basically tell you what is in front of you, but it'll be my way, and so that's exciting. So, first things first, like I said, major step for you. Do you want to elaborate on that at all? Like as far as, not to move yet, but as far as how important this milestone is?
Well, I can certainly do that. And we'll talk some more about when you do the roadmap with the small catechism when we split up here a little bit. But your parents, speaking to our young people here, when you were baptized, they promised that they would bring you up in the church. And I know some of you are thinking about baptism yet, so that's exciting too. So this can be like a part of your journey to baptism. But for those who are baptized, your sponsors or your parents, they say promises too, and they say that they're going to bring you up in the church, place the scriptures in your hand, teach you about the Lord's Prayer and the Ten Commandments, and teach you about the faith. The way I like to describe that is if you were given a gift, which we believe baptism is a gift, depending on where you're at in your life, remember when you were just a 1-year-old, were you able to unwrap the birthday gifts that you got? Probably not, right? No. But so your parents helped you unwrap the gift. Well, this is really the fulfillment, the kind of the cherry on the top of helping you unwrap that gift. Pastor Jonathan loves the analogy where God in baptism takes hold of us, and then we respond and we take hold of too. Well, confirmation is this. You learning about this, God's grasp and claim in your life, and then when you're confirmed and you confess your faith, as you're grabbing a hold. But even in that, there's even more promises where God's going to keep hold of you. So I love that analogy of Pastor Jonathan, so that's why it's so important you're here. The last thing I would say, thank you, Jessica, for letting me talk about that, is that you have lots of voices in your life. More than when I was and when your parents were kids. Way more. And you have lots of folks saying, this is what reality is, this is true, this is that. Well, we're in confirmation going to talk about the Christian faith and what God says to you about who you are, what life's about. And I just am so thankful that you're going to give some time to that. So it's not just a head learning, though, because as Jessica's going to explain and go over, this confirmation process involves more than just learning. It involves a lot more than that. So there you go. I'll hand it.
Yeah. So what we really love is this whole hands-on experience, this opportunity for you to practice intergenerational relationships and get to know the whole congregation and kind of step outside of your comfort zone, outside of your own family, even some of the mentors that you maybe have. We want to stretch you and have you form some new relationships that can empower you and help you in your faith journey. So I'm going to tell you the steps. They're on your paper in front of you, and if you have questions, feel free to ask them. So step 1 is show up. We're going to show up. So what does that mean? You did it today. I saw some of you in worship today. That was fabulous. Showing up to worship, being a part of the family, being here, listening, learning, practicing that part of your faith is really important. I mean, we're going to be talking a lot about that, so it's helpful for you to be there so you understand what we're talking about, right?
Yes.
So one thing about that's a little bit new this year is we're asking you to be present in worship so we can worship with you and we can walk alongside you, right? But we want to learn from you too, so we value your thoughts on the whole process as well. Part of that will be done through worship notes, and you can see that on your paper there, but this is a rough draft of what that might look like. You'll find this near the sanctuary on one of the calendars, which I will have to email you and tell you which one I'm allowed to put it on. But you will come to worship and you can take a thing of worship notes and you can participate in the service. And this asks you all sorts of things about our service, not just the sermon, but the music and the people serving. And it might send you on a bit of a scavenger hunt, maybe through the bulletin or the beacon, or have you meet someone new at worship. So those are all really exciting things. We will bribe you slightly for your worship notes. We're going to do that. This is for all youth. But what we're doing this year is something called 5 for 5. So once you have completed 5 sets of worship notes and you've submitted them to me, you get $5 to spend somewhere awesome. So it shall be a surprise, but once you start filling them out. So yes, we would like you to do one of those each month. We meet every month, so when you come back, we'd like to see that you've had at least one turned in, but you could have done them all and, gotten a gift from me when you show up to confirmation. So that's pretty cool. So we want you to be here and we want you to participate. And another big bonus in that is actually participating in the service. If you are serving communion, if you're greeting, if you're acolyting, if you're, what am I missing? There's so many opportunities. Reading. Just think of all the things you can do. I should see people out there ushering. You can be a greeter outside. Showing up and participating is really cool because you really get to know everyone and they can support you through your journey. So that's exciting. And feel free to ask everybody you meet questions because we want to test them too, right? So step 1, show up. Are we all comfortable with that? I see you all showing up, so I feel great about step 1. Step 2 is service. This is an important, did I do them out of order? I did them out of order. I missed one. It's fine, just go back to show up. So service. This is what happens when you make slides real late at night, So service is an important piece of confirmation here at SLC. I don't know if any of you guys have seen some of the servant projects that have taken place with some of the kids in confirmation. This can be done in a variety of ways. You can serve my favorite way, which is helping me in Vacation Bible School in the summer. But no shameless plugs here. You can serve in a lot of different ways that you can go out and do some work parties with Luther Haven. You can do a variety of things with Kathy Bowman, who coordinates all of our service opportunities here at Silverdale Lutheran and comes up with some incredible things for that. And you might also be doing service already outside of our church. We had a lot of scouts. I have a scout in the room, I know that. Maybe some of your service is through some of the ways you're already serving. Do any of you do anything in the community to serve others right now? You want to share?
Well, I'm part of Key Club for CKHS, so I volunteer a little.
I'm gonna move. Okay.
I volunteer a little for Key Club.
Oh, cool. Okay. See, we're volunteering. Anybody else? Anybody else helping in the community? We've got a scout in the room. We do things, yes? Yeah, that's helpful. So think about the ways you can serve, and this is something that like Pastor Jonathan and Pastor Bill and myself and anyone else here are excited to help you come up with some ways that you can serve. So you'll have some sort of a servant project, and it won't be just like I showed up and I served like communion one Sunday. That's not what I'm talking about. This is a little bit bigger than that. So I want you to think bigger, and you have this whole year to kind of do this. So we will actually check in with each one of you individually about what your plan is for that, and we'll help you come up with something if you don't have something. So are we comfortable with step number 2 that doesn't exist in my slides? Does that sound good?
It's my slide. It's in your slide. That's right. And there's so many servant events that we do here at church. Really plugging in. It's a ready-made thing too. So.
Yeah, lots of stuff. Military outreach, things with our preschool, the community, all over the community, the schools, lots of big things coming up. So plenty of opportunities. You guys should be able to check that box quite easily, and I hope you check it multiple times because it feels really good to serve others, and you will grow a lot when you do. So that's exciting. So now step number 3, sacrament, which is also an exciting thing we do here at Silverdale Lutheran. Once again, yes, you can be part of serving communion on Sunday morning, but what this means is you will be going out into the community and serving to someone who can't make it here on a Sunday. So we have lots of opportunities for that as well. You might go with Pastor Bill, you might go with Pastor Jonathan, you might go with Kim Grasnick, our pastoral care assistant, but you will get to go and be a part of that experience and serve that to someone who will really appreciate it. And you can also ask them lots of questions about their faith, and I hope that you come back with some stories about it. So that's a key piece, right?
Always very inspiring.
All right. Next step is your sit down. Now this is my favorite because I like to talk. See all the talking boxes over there? I think this is exciting. This is where you grow. In confirmation every year you have a mentor. Last year we did mentor speed dating. That might be coming up in a couple months. You're gonna have a mentor that walks alongside you in this journey. Now, like I said, you might have someone in mind, and if you do, that's great. You're even gonna answer that question on the next page. But if not, that's great too, because we will help you find one. And I would love to make sure that every kid is matched with someone kind of new anyway, just so that you get the benefit of as many mentors as you can in your world. So you'll be linked up with someone in the congregation. It could be a young adult, it could be someone who is almost 100. You will find out, but we will find the perfect match for you. That's where I get to be a matchmaker, and I love that part of this. And so the whole point of that is that you're gonna sit down with them, and you're gonna kind of share where you're at. You're gonna talk about your faith, maybe you're gonna ask some questions. We don't know everything, right? Sometimes we're not sure. Sometimes we question a lot. That's a great person to talk to with your questions. And also, they're gonna share their faith story with you. And you know what? It might not be this perfect fairy tale story that we all expect. You're gonna hear some of their challenges and what kind of kept them from growing at times. And so sitting down and talking, and you're gonna see in there also that yes, we're gonna send you somewhere on a date with them to learn more about each other. So we will sponsor that outing with copious amounts of ice cream for the people who love it. So moving on to the next thing, we've got our Sabbath. This is also very important. This, if Pastor Jonathan were here, he would be saying, this is something that is mandatory. This is the capstone of your confirmation experience. I do not have dates for it today. You're gonna have an opportunity to kind of share what might work. We do this in the fall. This year, it's probably gonna be at the Bowman residence. Kathy Bowman and her husband H have this property on Hood Canal that they have poured their love into to kind of create a retreat center for people like you guys, military people, anybody that needs to come out and find peace and seek the Lord. So we have gone there in the past. We were not able to go there this last year with 22 kids, but this group should be able to go there, and it's amazing, and it'll be a great experience. And with Kathy being a retired pastor, we get the bonus of her being present with you the whole time also. But we bring out multiple guest speakers, we do some different projects, and we also kick back and have some fun. So that is very important. That's where we talk about how your journey has been, where you're at, and how prepared you are for the next step. So we'll talk about that more, and we do plan it. We try to plan it around all the homecomings and stuff too. So when you give me your ideas, I will also run it through all the school calendars, and we try to make it as easy as possible for everyone. So finally, your statement. Now, you saw some people get up and give their faith statement, right? In October, we do that. In October, we do it on Reformation Sunday, right? So right around Halloween, you get to get up and be scared and give your faith statement. It works well, but you don't, we have a variety of ways you can share your faith statement as well. So as you saw, we had 22 kids last year. Did everybody speak? Do you think? No, they didn't. But those who did anybody, were you all here on Confirmation Sunday? If you were here, okay. It was pretty cool to hear everybody's story, right? And they're all so incredibly unique and different. And that's the cool thing, is that, like I said, we're gonna walk alongside you, we're gonna check in with you a lot and talk to you, and we will help you with that. So if you want to give up and share your faith statement, that's really powerful for you, but it's also powerful for the congregation, and especially the younger ones that are gonna be maybe in confirmation next year. They look to you for an example. So this is all really exciting. So you have an opportunity to build your faith statement and share where you're at. Does that mean you know everything and you are done and you're out and you're good to go? No, like you can be completely broken up there when you share your faith statement, right?
Absolutely, and it's not a perfect theological treatise necessarily, but it is an expression of your faith. So sometimes people do that, like you've seen. Some people do a project for their faith statement. We all have different modalities in our learning, and my wife's always telling me, respect neurodiversity. Everybody's got a little different learning style and expressing their faith. So Jonathan is very important that he wants you to be creative that way. I know it could be a poem, it could be, a writing like you've seen done, it could be a project of some kind. I know he's very open to you being creative about that. So yeah.
And that's the key thing, is that we want you to get to that point where you're comfortable creating something. You might even do something with a partner. That's happened in the past too. The one thing I'll tell you about that is, regardless what you choose, if you choose to not get up and speak, or no matter what, we will ask that you submit a written faith statement to complete your confirmation journey. So that will still be a requirement at the end, okay? And it's not like a, thousands and thousands of word essay. We want to have something concrete that we can work with, and we can continue after your confirmation journey to support you, right? So those are the steps of confirmation. What do you think? Is it manageable? Think you can handle it? Okay, so I think there's another slide. Probably a question slide. Oh, okay, here. So we're going to move into the survey. Okay, so page 2. Here we go. This is a survey that kind of asks some questions about what we just talked about. What I want you to do is, with your parents, take a look at it, and I want you to fill it out all the way to the part where it says statement. And you can read those questions, but I'm going to leave that as something you're going to do when you break off the textbook. So as a family, I want you to kind of look at some of the other things on there and check some of those boxes. And then I also want you to think of any questions you have, because I'll give you a moment for that before we move on. Okay, so take a minute here. So as you're finishing up here, you're going to hold on to that and take it with you when you go with Pastor Bill. But think about those. You can think about those statements in the bottom too. But most importantly, we want you to get through those first few questions. And then I want to just give you guys an opportunity, parents or kids, for any questions you may have. I know I've asked you every single time I've given you a step, but something could have come up since then. I don't know. Any questions about this journey?
Please.
One thing I also didn't tell you about the mentor experiences. Yes, we will probably do mentor speed dating. It's just a great opportunity for you to talk to people in the congregation and kind of have a couple minutes with different people. But one thing that was really successful last year that we're definitely doing this year is a mentor dinner. We did a really special mentor dinner at our retreat. We won't be able to do that because we'll be having a different type of retreat. But part of our retreat last year was this mentor dinner where the kids worked with one of our congregation members, who just happens to cook quite a bit, Miss Sandra Evanoff, and they prepared a really fancy dinner with her, and their mentors came for dinner, and they served them dinner, and then they sat and had dinner with them, and we played some kind of confirmation trivia. Sounds kind of hard right now, but it's actually quite fun, and it led to quite a bit of laughter. But just a really cool opportunity for you guys to do a service project right then and there for your mentors and get to know them better. So we will be doing that probably near the end of summer or just before the retreat. So just so you know, that's another thing that'll be kind of on the list. But anyway, does anybody have any questions for me?
Questions at all?
Just maybe a question about logistics and scheduling. So you mentioned there's a few requirements that take place throughout this year, and how do we track those and make sure we're meeting requirements sometime?
I'm so glad you asked. Okay, first of all, I did leave out a major detail. We meet on the last Sunday of every month. So same time, same place. It's from 12:30 to 2. We will be serving, it's just the kids from this point on, unless we ask for parents. But they'll be eating lunch, they'll be together. Every month you'll learn more about what you're doing every month. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to leave it as a surprise. But every month, last Sunday, 12:30 to 2. Also, all of the other details, we will be in touch constantly. Probably through email will be the most likely. But another thing that my next slide, I might as well just go there. Since you asked. We talk about the app all the time. However, one one thing that's changing with the app and confirmation is there will be a permanent button on our app for confirmation. So anything you miss, anything you have questions about, you can go right there, you can see it. So you can even see a recording of a class if you want to watch it again or talk about it. Any documents like this, any paperwork that you might need to fill out for something will be there, but we will also email and make sure that you're aware of like the retreat type things that are coming up that might be on weird times. And whatever you kind of write there for like as far as serving sacrament to someone, we will work with each kid individually. So we really try to talk to each kid one-on-one in a lot of ways. So that's really important to us.
So when in doubt, go to the
But if you
app.
have any questions, there will be a button only for confirmation, and it will have everything that you could dream of. And if it doesn't, then you have gotten an email from me. You just hunt me down, and I will make sure you have what you need. Okay? That's my role in your confirmation journey, is to kind of do your setup. So I don't do a lot of the teaching. I do a lot of the prep. So if there's anything you feel like you're missing, please contact me. Okay?
Perfect.
So
Any other questions?
anything else, guys?
So we're definitely going to be done a little bit early today, Bob. So I'm going to take our future confirmants into the youth room.
Yeah, and you have a folder. I didn't tell you that either. So your folder comes with you every month. You are free to look at it. Go ahead and write your name on it. You'll see that you have paper in there for your notes for each session. You've got your catechism that comes with you every month too. And the clear pages that are there, we do something like a pen pal program with confirmation. And what that means is each month you learn a different topic, and then I create a fun question for you to answer. And it's like a postcard. And what happens is at the end of each session, after you're done learning, you'll have about 5 minutes to think about what you learned and answer the hot topic question of the month. And then what happens is this goes back to our congregation, and someone picks it up and they flip it over and they respond to you also answering the same question. So at the end of confirmation, you will have connected with about 8 different people in the congregation through pen pal, like practices like
And
this.
we'll fill those out when you're here.
So the photo book is for you to keep your cards every month, so you can kind of keep track of everybody that you've kind of talked to, and you can try and find them and see if you can figure out who those people were responding to you. But you do have one of those today, and Pastor will give it to you when you're together.
Cool. And do they take those home with them? or-
We collect those, so you have just the last few minutes of every session to fill it out, and then
But the folders themselves?
the folders can go home, they just need to be back with you. It's like, this is like, you guys are all really good students, I'm sure, you're used to being in school, you need to have your supplies. The folder is an essential part, it doesn't seem like much, but it is important every month, okay? So put it somewhere where you're not gonna lose it, but you might want it to be able to go home and kind of think about what you're learning.
Perfect.